AI has the ability to transform how we live, work, and interact with each other. And during this presentation, I will give you a practical example of how a language model can do this. So large language models have become more and more popular in the past few years. You might have heard of models such as Dolly Bird, or GPT-3. And these are essentially very big neural networks that have been trained on a large corpus of text. And they have been shown to be very good at tasks involving text, such as generating and summarizing text, extracting information, and searching for similar content. So for my fellowship project, I was working together with IQVIA on a project exploring whether GPT-3 could be used to support the literature review development. So IQVIA is a world leader in using data and technology to help customers drive healthcare forward. And some of the solutions they provide to clients involve a literature review. So a literature review can be explained in two steps. So first, there is a step of selecting papers which are relevant for a certain topic. There could be from a few to hundreds of papers selected for a literature review. And then from these selected papers, it is necessary to extract information. And the whole process can take from 6 weeks up to a few months. So I'm talking here about extracting information, but what information is this? So let's assume, for example, that a client is interested on the details of a clinical trial for a specific drug. So common information to be extracted in this case could be, for example, the country where the trial took place, the study aim, the number of centers that participated in the clinical trial, and the criteria for including and excluding patients. So this is normally done by a person, meaning that someone would read through this paper and collect all this information and combine them into a table. But we are now suggesting to use GPT-3 to do this. So in order to explain a bit more about this process, I'll talk about one specific information, which was the number of centers that participated in the clinical trials. So if we want to extract this information using GPT-3, we have to use something that's called a prompt. And this is essentially a file, a text file that contains the instruction for the task we want GPT-3 to execute. It can contain the output format we want GPT-3 to follow. And finally, it has the text from where we want GPT-3 to extract this information. And in this case, these are the scientific articles or the papers. So I started by implementing a pipeline to extract this information. So for this specific information, the number of centers in the trials, with the most basic pipeline I had at the beginning and the most basic prompts I was using, I had a 10% accuracy. I then worked on optimizing two parts of the pipeline. So first, I optimized the semantic search. And semantic search means that at the prompt, at the end, instead of passing the whole paper to GPT-3, I was selecting just a part of the paper which was more relevant for the information to be extracted and passing only that. And specifically, what I changed here was implementing an algorithm that instead of selecting a block of text which was relevant for that information, it was selecting a collection of sentences that were all relevant for that information. I then worked on the prompt. And here what changed was that instead of having a very simple prompt with just an instructions, this would be similar to the prompt I just showed you. I was using prompts that contained both an instruction and examples of the task to be completed. And with that, I reached a final accuracy of 70% for this specific information, so the number of centers in the clinical trial. But I was actually also extracting other information from these papers. And for each one of them, I reached final accuracy levels that ranged between 70 and 90%. So there is, of course, the work to be done before this model can be used on an actual literature review. But just to give an idea of the impact this could have, currently one person analyzes on average 3 papers a day, which means a whole review can take up to 30 days. In comparison, GPT-3 was analyzing on average 90 papers a day, which means the same review could be done in 1 day. So that is 30 times faster. Another thing that is interesting about this model is that it could be used for other tasks that involve extracting information from text. For example, from financial reports or from legal documents. So going back to the beginning of the presentation, what I have just shown you is that AI actually has the potential to improve our productivity, efficiency, and decision making, while also providing us with new insights and perspectives. And finally, I would like to add that this quote was actually generated by GPT-3 itself as an answer to the question on the top of the slide.